the influx of thousands of people, actually, there's been a call to think about new ways of doing church, new ways of reaching out to an area that is quite alien to the rest of the church. And the question is, what does living out God's kingdom look like for the people in this area? We undertook an 18-month-long mission audit, trying to understand the culture of not only the people, but what the buildings say, what the cars that people drive say about them, what the shops that are built around about, what do they say about the type of people that live in Glasgow Harbour. Our focus in the mission audit was really on two aspects. There was qualitative data, which is really about the impressions that you build up. So the way that we did that was to kind of look at the websites of the developers, trying to understand who they were selling these flats to. It was about hanging around actually on the streets and on the promenade, trying to just understand who the people were, what the kind of culture that they came from was like, what the hours they kept, where they worked, and all of that was about just getting to know people.
What is our mission field? And I think the simplest way of discovering that is actually to ask the question, who do we have contact with who at present are on the edge or outside of Christian community? Now, most of us as individuals, and certainly as church communities, have such contacts. When we've discerned what that area of contact might be, that group of people, we need then to ask, how can we serve them?
As a social psychologist, I would recommend some of the tools of my trade. And some of those tools are good social research. And you can do that in a very friendly way. What do you need? What are you looking for? What kind of events would appeal to you? When would be convenient for you? What kind of situation would you feel comfortable coming into? Doing that kind of research, it's deeper than market research, but it covers some of those areas.
We were one of the first 5 or 6 people to move on site, so there really wasn't many people here at all. But we very quickly started to just try and meet people, really. So we would just take our children out and about walking, bump into people, bump into our neighbours, get some conversations going. So that was the first thing that we did, really. It was very, very basic listening kind of thing. But as more and more people began to move on site, one of the things I was very keen to do was to start a residents association. We had an informal meeting in one of the buildings just down the road here, put letters on people's doors, and we had about 40 or 50 people come along to that first meeting. And we were very clear that, you know, that we were a church and we were wanting to work and kind of enhance and help build community here. And we wanted to do that firstly by getting residents together in that association and giving them a voice. So that was a really effective way of initially kind of getting the community together and being able to listen to what was going on.
On one hand, if you're just going to start with where you are, you might totally miss what God's doing outside of the church. But on the other hand, if you just listen to all the voices and all the needs, you can get totally bogged down. So I think we found it's a case of actually listening and doing that honestly, but then thinking strategically, what can we actually do and what has God called us to do?
Your congregation already has certain gifts and graces that God can use more fully than are there, but you need to tune them and you need to develop them, just like a weightlifter would need to do some training to be fitter. And to bring a consultant in or to bring a facilitator into a local church setting is not to admit defeat because you can't do it on your own. It's actually to release all kinds of giftedness in the church and to facilitate possibilities that are really quite exciting.